Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something that's got everyone talking. Agentic AI. You know those AI systems that seem like they're almost thinking for themselves?
Almost.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of freaky how advanced they're getting. We've got a ton of research on this, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping with your help we can figure out what's really going on here.
It is a fascinating evolution. We've gone way past AI that just reacts to commands. Now we're seeing AI that sets its own goals, makes plans, and even acts on its own to reach them.
Okay, so way more than just a fancy calculator then.
Definitely.
So what exactly makes AI agentic? Where's the line?
That's a great question. And honestly, the definition is still kind of a moving target as this tech keeps developing. But one thing's interesting, experts are kind of moving away from trying to pin it down with some simple definition.
So less about a yes or no, more of a spectrum?
Exactly. Think of agenticness as a sliding scale. The more an AI can handle complex goals, adapt to new info, and act without needing us to hold its hand,
Right.
the more agentic it becomes.
So like, if I ask my AI assistant to book a flight, that's one thing. But if I ask it to plan my whole vacation, like flights, hotels, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
and it actually pulls it off, that's agentic.
Exactly. That level of planning, making decisions, and taking action on its own is key. It's not just doing tasks, it's managing whole processes.
Got it. So how's that different from the AI we're already using, like Siri or those poem writing bots?
Yeah, those are great examples of AI, but they're more what we call traditional AI. They're awesome at what they do, but in a more limited way.
Okay.
They're made for one specific job or a small set of jobs.
So what's the dividing line then? Is it just about agentic AI handling tougher tasks?
It's deeper than that. Traditional AI is usually about recognizing patterns and responding to inputs we give it. But agentic AI is all about understanding goals, figuring out how to reach those goals, and then actually taking the steps to get there.
Interesting.
It's the difference between knowing the answer and knowing how to find the answer using all sorts of tools and strategies.
Okay, so less about giving the AI specific instructions, more about giving it a target and letting it work out the how.
Right on.
Makes sense. We've touched on this a bit, but how's agentic AI different from generative AI, like the ChatGPT everyone's been talking about?
Good point. Generative AI is all about creating content, text, images, music, that kind of stuff. But agentic AI focuses on taking action and hitting goals.
So generative AI is the artist, and agentic AI is the one managing the whole project.
I like that analogy. And actually, agentic AI often uses generative AI as one of its tools.
Oh, okay.
Like if you ask an agentic AI to make a marketing campaign, it might use generative AI to write the ads or make images.
Right.
But the agentic AI is the one calling the shots, strategizing, and getting things done.
So we've got a clearer picture of what makes AI agentic and how it's different from traditional and generative AI. Now, let's get to the good stuff, the benefits. How could this tech change our lives, industries, the way we work, all that?
Well, the potential is huge, and we're just starting to see it unfold. One big one is just the pure boost in efficiency. Think of businesses automating complicated workflows like customer service or analyzing tons of data.
Yeah.
That frees up their human employees to focus on the stuff that needs creativity and strategy.
So it's not about replacing jobs, but more like changing them so people can focus on the bigger picture.
Right. Then there's personalization. Imagine AI assistants that truly get you, your needs, what you like. They could schedule meetings, filter your emails, even suggest personalized learning paths for you.
Wow.
That could be huge, not just in our everyday lives, but in fields like healthcare and education, too.
It's like having a superpowered personal assistant who actually knows you. What else?
Well, there's accessibility. Agentic AI could open up advanced tech to anyone, no matter how tech-savvy they are. Think about using simple language commands to make complex data visualizations or even build a website. All powered by AI doing the hard work behind the scenes.
So it's not just about automating tasks, it's about giving people tools they might not have had before.
Exactly. It's breaking down barriers and opening up possibilities we haven't even thought of yet.
This is really fascinating. We've talked about how agentic AI is different from other types of AI, and we've touched on some of the potential benefits.
Yeah.
But before we get into the challenges, I'd love to understand what actually makes these agentic AI systems work. What are the core components that give them that agentic ability?
That's a great question. And it's key to understanding why agentic AI is so powerful.
Okay, so let's break it down. What are those essential pieces and how do they work together to create that agentic magic?
Harrison Chase, the founder of LangChain, laid out 4 key building blocks that any agentic AI needs: planning, memory, tools, and action. They work together in a kind of loop, letting the AI learn, adapt, and get smarter over time.
Got it. Let's start with planning. What does that involve for an agentic AI?
Planning, in this context, is all about understanding the goal, breaking down complex tasks into smaller steps, and creating a strategy to achieve that goal. It's like the AI's roadmap.
So it's not just reacting, it's actually thinking ahead and strategizing.
You got it. And this is where memory comes in.
Right.
Agentic AI has to remember past interactions, what it's done before, and what happened as a result. This is how it learns from experience and makes its planning better.
Like having a mental notebook you can refer back to.
Yeah, exactly. Short-term memory helps it stay on track with its current plan, and long-term memory lets it personalize its approach and get more efficient over time.
Makes sense. So planning and memory, check. What about tools? What kind of tools are we talking about?
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Agentic AI can use external tools to get things done. Think search engines, databases, calculators, code interpreters, anything that expands what it can do and how it interacts with the world.
So it's not limited to what it already knows. It can actively learn and use new resources.
Exactly. And finally, there's action.
Okay.
With its plan, tools, and memories, the AI can actually take action, carrying out each step of its plan and interacting with the real world for you.
So it's not just theory, it can actually make things happen.
Precisely. And these 4 building blocks, planning, memory, tools, and action, work together in a continuous cycle, helping the AI learn, adapt, and become more and more sophisticated in how it operates.
It's starting to make sense how agentic AI is so different.
Yeah.
It's this combination of powerful capabilities that let it do things we never thought possible.
Exactly. And that's why everyone is so excited about this technology. The possibilities are immense. But of course, with great power comes great responsibility. We need to think about the potential risks and challenges too.
Absolutely. We'll definitely dig into that in the next part of our deep dive. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed this first look at what agentic AI is and how it's different from traditional AI and generative AI. We've also explored some potential benefits and started unpacking those core elements that make these systems tick.
It's a rapidly evolving field, and there's so much to unpack. But grasping these fundamental concepts is essential for navigating the exciting possibilities and potential challenges that lie ahead. There's definitely a lot to consider. So let's get into some of those challenges and potential risks.
Yeah, because as cool as it is to imagine AI planning my vacation, I also wonder what could go wrong.
It makes sense to think about that. One of the biggest hurdles is making sure these agentic AI systems are reliable. How do we guarantee they're dependable and won't make big mistakes, especially when they're working so independently?
That's a huge question. I mean, if we're giving AI important jobs to do, we have to be sure they'll make the right calls and avoid unintended consequences.
Exactly. That's where thorough testing, validation, and constant monitoring are absolutely vital. Developers are always working on ways to build in safeguards to prevent AI from overstepping its boundaries or doing things that could be harmful.
So, setting clear limits and making sure we can control it. But what about when something does go wrong? If an AI agent messes up, who's responsible?
That's a tricky one, especially with all the different players involved, the people who create the models, the companies using them, and the people actually using the AI. To figure this out, there's a lot of talk about AI agent identities. Imagine each agent having its own ID that can be traced back to where it came from and who's responsible for what it does.
Like a digital fingerprint for each AI agent to track its actions and hold someone accountable.
Exactly. But it's not just about who's to blame, it's also about control. Can we always turn off an agentic AI if we need to, especially if it starts acting up?
That feels like a basic safety issue. We need to know we can step in and stop an AI from causing that harm, especially if it malfunctions or goes rogue.
You're absolutely right. That's why being able to interrupt an AI is a crucial safety feature being built into these systems. Designers are working on what they call graceful shutdown mechanisms, ways to intervene safely without making things worse. But there are even more things to consider.
Like,
Well, sometimes simply shutting off an AI might not be the best or safest option, especially if it's in the middle of a complex task that could have real-world effects.
right, like if it's managing a crucial system or maybe assisting with surgery.
Exactly. So researchers are looking into ways to create systems that let us change an AI's goals or behavior on the fly without having to shut it down completely.
So instead of an on-off switch, it's more like having a steering wheel or controls to guide the AI.
That's a perfect analogy. It's about finding that sweet spot between letting the AI do its thing and making sure we can step in when needed. This really highlights that developing agentic AI isn't just about making AI smarter. It's about designing systems that are safe, ethical, and aligned with human values.
It's a lot more complex than I first thought. It feels like a huge responsibility, not just for the developers, but for all of us.
Yeah, it really feels like we're just getting started with this whole agentic AI thing.
Definitely. It's moving fast.
So before we wrap up, I'm curious, where do you see this technology going? What should we be watching out for as this field keeps developing?
That's a great question. I think one of the most interesting trends is the shift from these big all-in-one AI systems to more modular and interconnected ones. We're moving away from the idea of a single, super powerful AI that does everything.
And moving towards a more distributed approach where lots of specialized AI agents work together.
So instead of one giant AI trying to do it all, we're talking about teams of specialized AIs, each with their own skills, working together to solve complex problems.
Exactly. That makes things way more flexible, adaptable, and resilient. Instead of relying on one massive AI for everything, you can have different agents that can step in and help each other out, even if one of them runs into a problem or hits its limits.
So it's like having a built-in backup system.
Right. It keeps things running smoothly, even if one part of the system has a hiccup.
Does that make development and deployment easier too?
Absolutely. This modular approach means you can develop and deploy AI in a more targeted way. Instead of building one gigantic AI for everything, you can create agents specifically for certain tasks or industries.
So more specialized, tailored solutions instead of a one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. And this connects to another big trend, the growing focus on humans and AI working together.
Right, we touched on that earlier.
Remember, agentic AI isn't about replacing us. It's about giving us more power to achieve things.
Augmenting our abilities. Freeing us from the boring stuff so we can focus on the big picture, the creative problem solving.
Precisely. And as AI agents become more advanced, they can become true partners, collaborators, offering insights, making recommendations, giving us support to make better decisions.
It's like having a super smart teammate, using their strengths to help us with ours.
It is. But it means we need to learn some new skills and ways of thinking. We need to learn how to communicate with these agents, understand where they might fall short, and make sure they're working towards the same goals we are, ethically and everything, just like we would with any human teammate.
So trust and mutual understanding are key.
Exactly. And as this collaboration grows, it's going to change how we think about work, productivity, even what we're capable of as humans.
That's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, and it's just the beginning.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've covered a lot of ground, from defining agentic AI and its key features to understanding the building blocks that make it work. We've also discussed the potential benefits and applications, as well as the challenges and ethical considerations that come with this new technology.
It's a complex landscape, and we've only just begun to explore it, but it's clear that agentic AI has the potential to fundamentally change things. The advancements are happening fast, and the pace of innovation is only picking up speed.
It's a really exciting time to be following all of this. Listener, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. The future of agentic AI is still being written, and we all have a role to play in shaping where it goes.
So stay curious, stay engaged, and don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. There are so many possibilities ahead, and if we work together, we can harness the power of agentic AI to make the world a better place.
Well said. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of agentic AI. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.